Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. Today is il 5 Maggio, the 5th of May, which is important for every single Juventino of the world. For what reason? Because if you are concentrating purely on the 5th of May 2024, well, it can give us, if we beat this evening in the match day Roma, Juventus, 8:45 p.m. in the Olimpico Roma, a mathematical qualification to the Champions League. We all know everything about the importance of the game of tonight. Why? Because we are preparing this game since a few weeks already here on the channel. So we will give you all the details, the predicted lineup, etc, etc. But il 5 Maggio, the 5th of May, brings us also towards an important year, 2002. And a lot of you know about the 5 Maggio 2002 and what happened. Towards the end of the video, bonus, I will give you the details about really what happened that day. Not only that day, but how we arrived to il 5 Maggio 2002. So remain here, and in the middle, we'll speak about the DNA Juventus, words of Max Allegri yesterday in press conference, and of course about the shame of Calcio yesterday with Sassuolo winning over Inter 1-0. So put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We are getting to the end of the season and we didn't reach yet the 30,000 Juventini of the world on this channel. So we can do it. I'm counting on you. Maximum of like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want to, because now we start first with a big title of Corriere dello Sport. Dybala on one side, Federico Chiesa on the other side. Champions qui. Here is the champions, because today can be a decisive game for Roma, the Giallorossi, but also the Bianconeri of Juventus. If Juventus wins over Roma, qualification mathematically to the Champions League. Whatever Juventus do, even they lose the next 3 games in Serie A, we will qualify. If today we don't win, well, it depends a lot about what Roma and Atalanta will do. So it's an important game this evening. Again, I will not spend too much time in repeating you how important the game is today, but it's an unpredictable game. Also, if you're looking at the betting sites in Italy, they don't know. They are putting nearly the same quotes for the win of Roma, for the draw, for the win of Juve, goal, no goal. They don't know, because it's a game that is really important, because it's a game where not only the technical qualities will do the difference, but especially the will of doing the difference this evening on the field by the men chosen by Allegri and by Daniele De Rossi. We have 2 different lineups, the one of Tuttosport that is going towards the traditional Szczesny, Gatti, Bremer, Danilo, Cambiaso on the right side, McKennie, Locatelli, Rabiot, Kostic on the left, and then up front, Dusan Vlahovic and Federico Chiesa. While we have Gazzetta, and I told you, if there is one thing that I trust Gazzetta more than everything, is the lineups of Juventus, where they do one slight change. The defense remains the same, the goalkeeper remains the same. It's Weah that starts there on the right side, with Cambiaso also starting, but on the left side, the same midfield made of McKennie, Locatelli, Rabiot, Dusan Vlahovic, Federico Chiesa. For the people that didn't listen to the press conference of yesterday, if you're asking where is Yildiz gastroenteritis, I need to do the poo-poo, and that's why he will not be called up. He didn't travel with the team to Roma. We'll count on Chiesa this evening, as Yildiz is not there. A Chiesa that goes back, starting the game for the very first time since the last time on the 9th of January 2022, where he had that huge ACL injury in l'Olimpico. But most importantly, Federico Chiesa needs to score this evening. He never scored in l'Olimpico, neither against Roma, neither against Lazio. So we'll need a Federico Chiesa in top form. Of course, we'll need to pay attention to, and the Daniele De Rossi grinta. I tell you, them losing 2-0 against Leverkusen is a total disaster. Why? Because they know that it will be a mountain to climb. They will not give up, of course, but they know it's really difficult to exceed, to reach the Champions League qualification through winning the Europa League after a disaster score. So all their power, all their energy will be put on the field against Juventus this evening. When they played against Napoli, they were already thinking about Europa League. Now I'm sure that they will think more about Serie A than Europa League. So pay attention, and we'll of course pay attention to Dean Huijsen. Not sure that he will start this evening, but you know, the rule of the X, like it can also be the rule of the X from Paredes. And especially a Paulo Dybala that never scored yet against Juve. I can tell you, this evening you will see him celebrating, you will see him scoring. It's already written in the stars. So Juventus will need not only to score once, but 2, because the goal of Dybala is already written all over the place. And pay attention to a Spinazzola that could, at the end of the season, being a free transfer and join Juventus. But that's a story that today we have not really the interest or the time to speak about, because we have a lot of other topics to speak about, like, for example, yesterday before the game in the Telegram group, I said, and I wrote, and it's there, you can also see the time, Sassuolo will win. It was so predictable. Some people from the Telegram group, and I'm not asking people to bet money, pay attention when you are betting money, but like Darius and other people, they said, you know what, we will trust Beppe. They paid or they bet on the win of Sassuolo, and they had a lot of money. So good for them. I didn't play because you know it, I don't bet, but it's really like one time every 2-3 years. Congratulations to them. Shame to Inter. Shame to also Sassuolo. Why? Because Sassuolo won 1-0. But did you watch the game? Look, I had absolutely no interest and no will, no joy in watching Inter playing, but I watched because I said I need to watch that game. I need to watch to understand what is happening there between Sassuolo and Inter. I saw immediately the start of the game, 3 attempts for Sassuolo, 0 for Inter. Already looking at the lineups, you see that they made a massive turnover, maybe to, I don't know, resting the player for the game in no. They are not playing Champions League. I'm sorry. I don't know. They made a rotation. They could have reached 100 points. It's impossible now for Inter because they can reach 98. But it's total disaster. It's a shame. We all understood. Were already speaking about it since 2 weeks. Why? Because you remember the relationship between Carnevali, sporting director of Sassuolo, and Marotta, best men. They are the best friends. They have a family interest there. They know each other since so long. I already explained you all the details about that. Sassuolo needs to save themselves. Inter already won the Scudetto. They can't reach that 102 points. That is the record of Juventus of back then. It was written all over the place. I was telling my son in the Telegram group, also on Twitter. I said, it's all written. It's all written. We already know how it will end. And it ended like it was. Do you remember the famous words of Carnevali during the summer when he helped Roma to do plusvalenza, the profit? When he said, it's always a right thing between clubs. When you can help each other, you can lend a hand. You have to do it. Famous words that I reported yesterday. Again, a total disaster. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame. You don't want to think bad. You don't want to think about corruption. But guys, 0 shots on target for Inter in the second half. What are we speaking about? Anyway, it is what it is. You know what is the worst thing? It's not even Inter as well. It happened a lot of time that the winning team that already won, they play again a relegation team, and the relegation team wins because they have objectives, the winning team not. It's not even that much. It's the fact that the papers, the people are speaking about Juventini are totally crazy. They are totally crazy. They are inventing. Inter was distracted yesterday. This is the title on Gazzetta dello Sport. Inter distracted. Sassuolo is doing the party, guys. We all know what happened. It was so evident anyway. A shame. A shame, a shame, a shame. Good luck now to Udinese, to Empoli, to Frosinone, to Verona, to Cagliari. Not that much to Lecce because they are about to remain in Serie A, but Cagliari, Verona, Frosinone, Empoli, Udinese, I think that these teams need to complain about what we saw yesterday, because we are falsifying not only the top, but also the bottom of Serie A, and this is absolutely not acceptable. Anyway, good luck to them, because it would be a shame. Would really be a shame. We go to the words of Max Allegri. We spoke too much about the Inter Sassuolo and about all these kind of things that are absolutely not beautiful in football. That sometimes when you see these kind of things are taking you away a bit of faith, a bit of belief, a bit of love for a sport. Anyway, yesterday, words of Max Allegri, you know it, I told you the month of May will be extremely long for the result, for the games, for the way of playing, but also probably for the press conferences, post and pre-game of Max Allegri, because everything that he's saying is in a way analyzed, looked at, and then it depends if you are Allegri in, Allegri out, Allegri, I don't care. You go and give some power to these words, to fitting a bit your agenda. Yesterday, there were words about DNA of Juventus. Not that he wanted to speak about DNA, but he received a question from a journalist that told them, how much do you feel Juventino? Because they were comparing with that Roma attitude behavior that Daniele Rossi was able to transmit to the Roma players. He said, look, I'm here since 10 years, 8 years as a coach, 2 years that I also lived at Torino in between, so it's already 10 years. I feel extremely honored to have been in a big, huge club like that. Really sounds like a goodbye to Juve. Really sounds like a goodbye to Juve. Look, even Tuttosport today is saying, starting to say goodbye to everyone. But then he continues, he said it's a club with a unique DNA, A unique DNA that can't be changed. It can slightly be shaped, but not changed. The DNA of a club needs to be respected. And then everyone goes towards his own theory. Max Allegri is speaking about DNA because it's an indirect message to Giuntoli that he's about to change the DNA. Is it whatever? He's speaking, trying to defend himself because he only wants to win, etc., etc. I don't know. I don't know what was the intention of Max Allegri. It was something that was not prepared because you can't prepare that the question will come, how much are you a Juventino? The only thing that I can say is that we can't make a mistake. Make no mistakes, at least this is my standpoint, that's my point of view. We already made the mistake in willing to change a winning DNA of Juventus in 2019, sacking Max Allegri, which was, according to me, a right decision back then, but going towards Sarri to changing the way of playing of Juventus. The objective, and that's the most important objective, because I see too much people speaking about this, about that, about this, about that. The objective is not to become an entertaining team. Because I see a lot of people saying, I want beautiful football. I want to have fun watching Juventus. That's not the most priority, according to me. Not to become or to become entertaining, because Juventus has been entertaining in a lot of times in their history, but has never seen that as the main objective. Entertainment can be a tool to arrive to our main objective. And what is your main objective? Being again a winning team. That's the only thing that is important at Juventus. Not entertainment, but winning. That's what you want, that's what I want, that's what we all want. Going back to win instead of saying congratulations to the other ones. Now, we are a team and we have to be realistic that at the moment we have no big power on the transfer market anymore. We can't speak about Mbappe, about Bellingham, about Holland. This is over at the moment. Will we come back on that? I'm speaking about Italian football. Depends on how football will go and have an evolution. At the moment, no. Spending power will be impossible. How can we do it? Ideas, new ideas. Youth system, super important. Young players, but also way of playing. If you can't go and spend, you need to find in-home decisions. With your youth academy, with a way of playing, a different way of playing, maybe more offensive, maybe more modern, maybe more European, all what you want to. But again, and that's super important, these are tools to again become a winning team, not the main objective. Then patience will be needed, and that's super important. We will have patience also with the new coach, whoever he will be. That DNA is important of Juventus. Don't change, because otherwise, if you want to have fun, watch, I don't know, All-Star NBA. If you want to have fun and don't care about the result, watch the teams of the derby. That's fun, that's nice, with all the respect. But that's not what I want to for my Juventus. I want a Juventus that is winning. And how do I want them to win? Through entertainment, through young players, through patterns, to whatever you want to, but with one objective, that is DNA of winning, which Juventus has always had. That being said, we go towards the bonus. I don't know if you will be still here. I will probably put a timestamp, because maybe I will cut it and make an even other isolated video about it. Il 5 Maggio 2002. Now we speak about the past, about 5th of May 2002. What happened in the 5th of May 2002? Because you all watched the images of Juventus wearing that shirt against Bianconeri that were Udinese. You all saw the score panel there with 4 for Lazio, Inter 2, Ronaldo, R9, that was crying, Del Piero, Trezeguet hugging, Materazzi. You all saw. Then years later, celebrating a Scudetto, Buffon with the banner 5 Maggio, godo ancora. The 5th of May, I'm still enjoying. What happened? We have to understand the context of that 5th of May of that season 2001-2002. In that year, l'Inter didn't win a Scudetto since 13 years. The last time they won was in 89. Lippi is back at Juventus. Inter is objectively extremely strong. Just speaking about the duo, Christian Vieri, Ronaldo R9. Just telling you 2 names, guys. It was really a strong team with really important players. Serie A was the peak of everything back then. In all that season, Juventus was not second, was not first. They were third, fourth, fifth, fourth, third. The first one was Inter, the second one was Roma. For all season long, except of one match day towards the beginning, the 10th one, where Chievo, you always have that season where a small team is doing a miracle. That year it was Chievo were doing really well. So they were first and then they collapsed anyway. Inter, Roma, Juve. And back then you had 34 match days, not 38 like that. At the end of match day 29, I'm telling you, Inter 62 points, Roma 59, Juventus 56, minus 6 from the leader from Juventus that had ups and downs into the season. It was over. With 4 match days to play, it was over. Impossible. Not only to go with minus 6 and winning over one team, but there were 2 teams ahead of Juventus. Juventus did what they had to do. They couldn't. It was over. But the thing is that in match day 30, 31, 32, a lot of things happen. At the end of match day 33 on 34, we have a new ranking that is saying Inter 69, Juventus 68, Roma 67. Crazy. 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. We are already in the era of the 3 points. Roma will go to Torino in l'Olimpico Torino-Roma. Inter will go in Roma to play against Lazio. Juventus travels to away, also because the 3 teams were playing away. We play away against Udinese. It was impossible, because you need to understand also the context of what happened. A stadium of l'Olimpico of Lazio that was shared between Inter fans, a lot, too much, and Lazio fans. And a lot of Lazio fans, you saw them also cheering for Inter. You could see banners from Lazio next to Inter banners. They were going with the flags, with the banners, with celebrating. You imagine the atmosphere. Lazio that was even asking to lose the game, the supporters to lose the game to their player for that reason. Because Roma had the possibility also to win the Scudetto. Imagine, Lazio actually giving the Scudetto to Roma would have been a total disaster. How could they win? If Lazio beats Inter, if Juve don't win against Udinese, and if Lazio wins, it is Roma that goes on top and win the Scudetto. So impossible for the Laziali to beat Inter. It was better to let Inter win so that Inter could have that Scudetto, and it was over. Also because we know that relationship between Laziali and Interisti, the fans, okay? That's the context that we are playing in. That day is crazy. That day is totally crazy. Juventus goes to Udinese. They win easily in the beginning of the game. Immediately they close the game. Del Piero, Trezeguet, 2-0. It was beautiful. It was sunny. It was like that. In Inter, it starts quite bad, actually, for the Juventini, because immediately you have Christian Vieri, ex-Juve, that scores in the beginning of the game, and everyone is saying what we thought is happening. Easy win for Inter, everyone is happy, Lazio, Inter fans, everyone, entire Italy, entire anti-Juve were super happy. It is what it is. But this was without counting on Karel Poborski, international friend of Pavel Nedved. He scores immediately. And people are looking at Poborski, what are you doing? You have to understand that Poborski was absolutely not liked by the supporters of Lazio. Absolutely not. Because back then he didn't play that great. He was not fantastic. And he was absolutely not liked. Contradictions, the hate, the messages, Poborski out, if we want to actually put it at today in 2024. Poborski out. That's the situation that we are in. He was pissed off, and it was last year of contract. Poborski, that at the end of that game, will fly immediately to Czech Republic. He will never go back to Roma. Never go back to Roma. He scores the first one. Then, immediately after, Di Biagio scores 2-1 against for Inter. Juventus is still winning 2-0. They're in Udinese. They are waiting. But what happens is Poborski scores again. 2-2. Where you can't imagine the atmosphere in Udinese back then. With the people, there were no smartphones like today. They were listening to the radio. They were listening and they were saying 2-2-2, Poborski 2, Poborski 2. That was the supporters to some players on the bench, and the bench players that were speaking to Pavel Nedved, Poborski too. Nedved said, but the guy is never scoring. What are you telling me? I don't understand. Poborski too. What are you speaking about? Two. They were signed because there was so much loud, so much atmosphere. It was totally crazy in Udinese. But it was not over yet because the game was super long. And that's where, because Poborski was giving everything, the other Lazio players, they continued to play. And they started also to play knowing that Lazio would have made a difference, winning or losing. Because if they won, they went in UEFA Cup, that is a bit the Europa League of today. If not, they could have gone to Intertoto, that is a bit the Conference League of today. So they start to play, they start to understand the momentum. They are dragged by that performance, the best performance ever of Poborski at Lazio. And that's where Diego Simeone, is scoring a goal, 3-2. You see the images of Materazzi, because people, they forget about that. A Materazzi that is really devastated. Not because it's the end of the game. They are still playing. He's looking at the Lazio players and he's telling them, reminding them, we made you win the Scudetto the year before. Putting into context, the year before, Perugia, Juventus in 2000, Carlo Ancelotti as a coach of Juve. The Rain, Collina, referee, Lazio fan, that decides that they need to play. Materazzi is a Perugia player. Because Perugia wins 1-0 against Juventus that day, Lazio becomes champion of Italy. And on the field, on il 5 Maggio, when they are about to lose and understand that Lazio will not give up, Materazzi is looking at them, trying to cheat. He's cheating. He's saying, don't do this to us. Remind that we gave you that Scudetto last year when I was at Perugia. They don't stop. Because you know what? It's the actual coach of Inter, Simone Inzaghi, that at the 71st minute is scoring that 4-goal. 4-2 delirium in Udinese, even if with 90 minutes to play, everything can happen of football. So it was a moment of anxiety, of scare, of fear, of people that couldn't imagine what was happening. Because nobody would have expected Juventus to win that Scudetto of 2002. Nobody. And it happened. Showing the fino alla fine spirit of Juventus. Showing again that Inter, they try to cheat there with Materazzi. And you can see the words of Materazzi. Showing that all the money that they spent from the 90s to the 2006 Calciopoli, they were the ones that were bottling it. Not Juventus that was stealing games. They were bottling it as they bottled 2002. 2002, guys, the Cinque Maggio represent much more than only 4 pictures on the net. I hope you enjoyed that story. I hope I explained it well. I hope that I transmit the emotion of what was, according to me, as a Juventino, one of, if not the most beautiful one. Was extremely beautiful. 2011, 2012 was fantastic for Juventini. Probably the most beautiful, unbeaten. But the emotions of 2002 at today, I think they are still unpaired, unmatched. Grazie, forza, Juve.